Jennifaye Singleton was born and raised in South Carolina and has been practicing the art of basket weaving since 1990, a skill she learned from her aunt. She views sweetgrass basket sewing as a divine gift passed down through generations. Her work reflects her personal style and rich cultural heritage behind this beautiful art form. In addition to basket weaving, she also shares Gullah Geechee history through storytelling.
How y'all for doing today? Y'all do all right? Yeah. Ooh, y'all understand what I said? Yeah. You talk like I do? We from the backwoods, eh? Well, I'm going to start off with a song that you all may know, and then I'm going to explain what that song means, okay? Kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya. Y'all didn't know the song? Kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya. Oh, Lord, kumbaya. Somebody needs your Lord, kumbaya. Somebody needs your Lord, kumbaya. Somebody needs your Lord, kumbaya. Oh, Lord, kumbaya. Come by here, my Lord, come by here. Come by here, my Lord, come by here. Come by here, my Lord, come by here. Oh, Lord, come by here. All right, how many of y'all remember that song was a song of prayer? That song was a song of friendship. Going to Girl Scout or Boy Scout camp and y'all sitting around the campfire holding hands. Y'all thought that we were becoming new friends, right? Well, how about I tell you on the plantation, they didn't believe that song was for new friends. They believed that they said, Lord, did it mess with us down here? And we need you for coming. Come by them. So it's two ways of looking at, or three ways of looking at kumbaya, which means come by here. Or somebody's praying, come by here. Somebody needs you, come by here. Kumbaya is Gullah Geechee for come by here. What is Gullah and where did Gullah come from? Well, there is a continent over there called Africa, and in Africa there's a place called Angola. They took the "and" completely off, and they called us the Gullah people for a very long time. And as y'all know, it only takes one person to come into the mix, and then they change things up. So we went from G-O-L-L-A to G-U-L-L-A-H because they wanted it to sound more proper. Then we had the word Geechee. Oh, that Geechee person over there. What a derogatory term back in those days, right? Well, Geechee actually came from the Geechee River in Savannah, Georgia, because a lot of us went over there and we planted, who knows what this is? Carolina gold rice. So we are known for the people who eat the most rice. We are known for the people who cook the best rice. We are known for red rice, Hoppin' John, Prelo, which y'all might call bog, but ours ain't wet. Y'all bog is wet. Dry them out a little bit, it might be better.
That's right.
Tell them, when you dry them a little bit, eat a little bit better. But Carolina gold rice was the staple crop. This is a cash crop. We were not allowed to plant cash crops. We're still to this day not allowed to plant rice, cotton, indigo, or tobacco because these are known as cash crops. And if you're caught, we can't make cash off the crop we brought. She looked at me sideways, so I had to explain it to her in another way. But the cash crop, as in Carolina gold rice. Now, Carolina gold rice is known for its gold, and it's also known by the color of the covering of the rice. Now, I have learned how to plant this rice. The kernels right here are the seeds of the rice. And you have to have it in non-hole where it can collect water so that it can grow. Carolina gold rice. Now, when you think of our language, yes, I said language, because a lot of people say, oh, you got a dialect. Oh, what's the difference between a dialect and a language? You think it's slang? Y'all think y'all think I speak Ebonics, broken language? Or it's because you don't understand what I'm saying, you say what you want to say. Yeah, how about I give you all a game? You ready? It's called Guess What I Am Saying. I ain't going to be talking in regular language. I can talk in my Gullah language. You got them? You ready? All right, the first one you should know because I already used it. How Hannah for doing today? How are you doing today is correct. Did you eat? Correct. Yet? Are we there? Ready yet? All right, here's a harder one. Ain't crack my teeth all day. I haven't talked all day. I haven't cracked my teeth all day. Now, let me tell y'all something a little bit about me. If I don't crack my teeth all day, you better call 911 because something is totally wrong with me. I'm going to tell you in a minute. Where your wife at? You the wife? Hold on a minute. I got you. Tie your mouth. Tie your mouth. Shut up, zip it, hush, be quiet. Don't say another word. Tie your mouth. So a lot of times when I do the little skits like this, we have a lot of school teachers. Any ex-school teachers or still school teachers in the house? Wouldn't you have loved to have known tie your mouth back in the day? But the teachers love it. And they was like, well, what am I supposed to tell them students? Tie your mouth. Tie your mouth. That means be quiet, shut up, hush, don't say another word. Tie your mouth, zip it. There you go. Now, my grandmother, on my father's side of the family, she was the best rum cake maker there was. Now, y'all could debate that, but see, me no go there. Best rum cake on that side of town. Grandma will give us a slither of a piece. We eat that up real good. We're going back to her. We said, Grandma, can we get another piece of cake? She said, don't make your eye line to get no more. What did my grandmama say? She said, don't make your eyes long. You're not getting no more. Well, Grandma was one of those type where she eat and she slept right after. So we're good until she went to sleep and we went back in the kitchen. We cut us a grandma slice of cake. When Grandma woke up, she didn't cuss, she didn't fuss, she didn't say one word. She let us just be ourselves because the alcohol in the rum cake did not cook out of the rum cake, so it beat us. It had us. We learned what drunk was at the age of 9 or 10 years old. I never did that again, but I always ate only the piece that Grandma gave us, because once you make your eyes long, you're in deep trouble. Now, remember I talked about that Hopper John red rice chicken bog, which is chicken perlo in our household. Well, in the New Year time, we got plates and dishes that we make for good luck. Well, one of them is for prosperity, one of them is for gold coins, and one of them is for luck. When you think of collard greens, you think of prosperity. When you think of cornbread, you're thinking of gold coins. When you think of black-eyed peas or cow peas, which one y'all think Hopper John be made of? Do anybody know why it's cow peas? Anybody? Because during the Civil War, they went in everybody's house and they ravished all the food of the house. They took everything they had except the cow peas because they believed that nobody wanted to eat cow food. So my people took that and they said, oh, we got something lucky. We got a whole barrel of cow peas and we're going to make something great out of it. So they took them cow peas, they boiled them down, they took that rice and they added to it, they added a little seasoning to it, and they added some of that ham hock and neck bone y'all didn't know nothing about until recently. And they gave it a little more flavor. So as they're eating this flavorful plate, man, the New Year's couldn't be no better. Because we got something good to eat. A little fried chicken on the side. Wow, how we got the fried chicken? Well, I tell you, they allowed us to have chickens as pets. And once them chicken got too old, we put them in a skillet pan to fry them up. Once they ain't been producing no egg, it was no need to have them no more. So now we have to eat the meat. Fried chicken. Huh? Well, the neck bone and all that stuff, yeah, that went into a stew. We got them. He got to tie his knot, but he all right. He helping the program. A lot of people don't believe in eating yard chicken no more. Who know what I'm talking about? Yard chicken. Oh, we can't eat that. Let me tell y'all something. I don't remember going to the grocery store but once a month. Once a month. My grandma would go to the grocery store because she needed some rice, some sugar, some molasses, some flour, and a couple of little whatnots, as she called it. But what we ate came out the yard. Mountain oysters. Mountain oysters, chicken, we had bacon, we had sausage, we had everything you can think of that you get out the grocery store today out the backyard. If I wanted collard greens today, we go cut some out the backyard. If I wanted some okra, we go cut the backyard. If I wanted sugar cane during Thanksgiving, Granddaddy gave us all a stalk and we chewed until we couldn't chew no more. But that's the way that we grew up. Now people, oh, we ain't got no food in the grocery store. What's in your yard? She looked at her husband like, why we ain't got no garden? But those were the ways that we grew up. We grew up cooking and planting and growing our own things. As Gullah Geechee people, that's the only way we knew. That's how we got through the Great Depression. Oh my God, we're in a depression. Girl, go in that backyard and get some collard greens and some okra and some thing out there and let us cook that thing up. We didn't have nothing to worry about because we already had things in process to keep going. When I think of my great-grandparents, and I'm going to tell y'all this story. My great-grandfather's name was Manzi, and his wife, we called her Babe. Her real name was Margalie. But anyways, one day, Manzi went out there and he went hunting. And he shot all willy-nilly, boom! And he go out there and say, I wonder where I hooked. And he gone out there and he drag him. Oh, shucks, I got me an old rag fox. And he take that fox home, dragging him. Take it home to his wife look at him, he look at the fox, and she said, oh, what I supposed to do with this here? Him said, you was gonna cook it and we was gonna eat it. She said, well, I guess so. She took it in the house and she cleaned it up real nice, put some vegetables and some water and some seasoning, and she put it on her cast iron stove. How many of y'all remember old cast iron stove? You had to cook with wood. Oh, y'all too young for that. But anyways, I grew up in the 80s, but I was raised in the 90s, and I still knew what a cast iron stove was because my church pastor still had a cast iron stove up until I was a teenager. Was her house hot in the summer? Hot as the dickens. But she put on that cast iron stove and she let it cook, slow cook on that fire all night long. Her stomach started doing triple turns. So she get up, go check her pot, but there's a knock at the door. Boom, 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 boom. So she go open the door. It's all the man's and friend waiting out on the porch to go hunting. So she opens the door and they said, Granddaddy, that's it, this sure smell good. I sure hope I give me a plate of that there before we leave for we trip this morning. So she goes in the kitchen and she get everybody a plate. And she start feeding everybody. Everybody gets a plate, everybody. And they start eating. Woo, boy. Woo, ah. Boy, this plate, boy, that thing tastes real good. Boy, ooh, that thing that eat good. I want to see in the mind tell what happened on we plate. And she look at him with a smile. And she put both hands on she Kimball. Sure. That the old red fox paw bring here the other day. The paw. Why you don't tell us that for we don't eat no fox? Moral of the story is y'all come in these backwoods of South Carolina, y'all better ask us what's in our pot before you ask us for a plate of our pot, because it could be anything. It could be a pot of stew squirrel. We could have possum already done soaked with some milk, and we could have some Ninja Turtle stew. Y'all ain't know about the Ninja Turtle stew, eh? I got a tragic. She killed Donatello, Michelangelo, Leonardo, and Raphael. Had them stirring around that pot. Whew. That was tragic. I'm an 80s baby. When did the Ninja Turtle come out? In the 80s. And she cooked my friends. Yeah, in the South, you better be mindful of what you ask for. It might smell good, and it might also taste good. But you never know what it is until somebody actually tell you what you done ate. Then we have our religion. Our religion did not start on the plantation. Our religion started where we were at, Africa, Jamaica, Barbados. Oh, I got to back up. I'm not going to go with religion right now. Let me talk about the language one more time. I'm going to tell y'all something. The Gullah Geechee language is 14 different languages combined to make one language. So how about I said, je ne sais quoi, oui, fin bonjour, oui, oui, si. That's a little French, right? Or I said, piquite español, little Spanish. How about I tell you, you go up the mango tree and get the mango out the tree, and big fluffy lady just sitting down there and eat the mango. Jamaican. So you're going up the mango tree, and a big fluffy lady waiting on her to eat the mango. You don't get that? Somebody going up the mango tree and a fat lady sitting down there waiting to eat the mango. Or you have a little bit of our English. How many of y'all understand English very, very well? Not a soul. Not a soul. I'm going to tell you why. Let me give y'all a sentence. You ready? You said not very well. You ready for the sentence? I saw a bear that barely bared with me drinking a beer. How many times did you spell bear? 3. You think it's 3 times, right? B-E-A-R, B-A-R-E, B-E-E-R. Why do we need all of those bears? Well, we could just put it in the right context and use it in the right form. Huh? Oh, we can dare to dare. Have you ever dared to dare? Or dare you? It's not me, y'all. They was trying to confuse you from the beginning. You go to first grade and it's like, well, you have to learn can't and can'tus and. Lady, look here. And when I'm gonna use that word? Am I doing spelling bee in first grade? Nah, we're not doing that. But that's how they confused you. Or you go to European English. And that's a whole nother thing. Italian, a whole nother thing. And a lot of people say, well, why do you speak Spanish? Or why do you speak? Man, we could go to Barbados. You know, go to Barbados, the guy who found the charger was from the Barbados. So why we have sound like we from the islands all the time? You don't know? You don't sound like you're from the islands? Because you're not Gullah Geechee. We got some Benyas and some Kamyas. Right? Anybody got a question for me? It's rounding up. I can feel it rounding up. Like somebody want to know something. Y'all hold on to the question. I'm going to ask y'all in a minute. But yeah, those are our languages that's combined. We also, when people think of Spanish, you think of Mexicans or Argentinians or people from, look at my color. We had black Spaniards. We had them connected and combined because they people, if you think about Columbus, them people didn't know where there was at. They didn't know. Columbus thought, he thought he was in India. He thought he was in India. So if you think about back then, they had no idea. He was all the way on the other side of the country and thought he was in, never mind, we ain't going to go to history today. We ain't going to class today. But that is what happened. Then we have our religion. Our religion is not from just being on the plantations and different things like that. We actually brought religion with us. And a lot of people didn't know that we ran away from the plantation most times so that we could have our own religion and our own time. And a lot of people called them the meeting tree. Why did they call them the meeting tree? Because all they saw was footprints underneath that tree. And what they didn't know was we was going out there to have us a good time by ourselves so we won't be bothered. And this is something, let me take this out before I knock a glass or something. But they would go and they would call it a ring shout. And what they did and how they got the footprints all the way around that tree was they would sing a song like, walk with me, Lord, walk with me. Walk with me, Lord, walk with me. While I'm on my tedious journey, walk with me, Lord, walk with me. While I'm on my tedious journey, walk with me, Lord, walk with me. Did y'all see me go all the way around the circle? Did y'all see 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot off the ground? We did a shuffle. How many of y'all ever been to African American church and y'all still see them doing the shuffle? Doing the shuffle. That is a part of our ancestors. That is what our ancestors did back in the day. And it kept us on the ground. It kept us grounded with doing our little two-step. That's what we call it now, a two-step, unless you're doing something else. I've seen some crazy things in church nowadays, but we ain't gonna talk about that neither. And our religion was always about God. Our religion was also about 7 different gods. And I understand that a lot of people say, oh, you can't have no other God but God. Well, you have the water god, you have the sun god, you have different gods that they believed in, and that was their belief. We ain't gonna go through all of that, but the Oshira, and stuff like that. And that's how they shouted. Well, when they went back there and they saw all those footprints around that meeting tree, they was thinking that they may run off the plantation. So they decided to bring the church or the prayer house a little closer to the big house. In some of the plantations, you can see that the prayer house and the big house is in proximity, where they can hear what's going on, where they could tell them what's going on, what they wanted them to know. And they did some of that stuff, but they still went on back to that prayer tree or that meeting tree later on in the afternoon, and they went on back around in their ring circle because that's what they knew. So let's talk about, well, let me sing. I'll give y'all another song first before I sing, before I talk. That sound better? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Harriet Tubman, thank you. Harriet Tubman played a big role in the Underground Railroad. She was an abolitionist, she was a quilter, she was a nurse, she played a spy in the military, and most of her quote pattern is what got my peoples free. Then she had one that was called the hourglass, and the hourglass told you to dress in your best fit so that they wouldn't think that you were free or if you were not free. Or she had one that was called the log cabin pattern, which would point in the direction where the next log cabin would be, which would be this next safe house that you can go to. Churches were 5 miles apart from each other until someone got mad at it and put one every 2.5 miles in between those churches. You also had one that was called the wagon wheel. Wagon wheels to gather everything that could fit in the wagon so we can take it along with us. Or you had the monkey wrench. It's to gather all their tools, their guns and their bullets too. Let's take it along with us. Or you had the drunken path, and it told you to walk in a drunken stammer. They thought that you were sick, disease-ridden. They would not talk to you, bother you, stop you, or any of those things. They would not even look at you. They said, oh, that person is something wrong. What would you do if you see a drunk person? Something wrong with him. I'm mosey on this way, right? And there was 12 different patterns all the way up until the Civil War, after the Civil War, where they added the wedding ring pattern. The wedding ring pattern represented jumping of the broom. How many of y'all remember jumping the broom? So you take a broom, and you lay it down, and you and your spouse will hold hands, and y'all would, and that would seal the deal. Don't sweep away what you ain't never had. But it was sweeping away the past and starting a new beginning is what the broom, jumping the broom, represented. I usually bring a broom with me, but I can't cluster my car up anymore. I got too much stuff already in there. And those are some of the ways that they understood each other, or they actually talked. And most of the time they were either in the window of a church or the clothesline, on the clothesline. If you saw one that had a basket on it, the basket pattern that was on the quilt, the basket pattern represented food. Bear claw told you which way to go to meet the guide on the plantation. It was different ways. Crossroads, you got into 4 different states at one time because you was in the crossroad. You could be in 4 different places at one time. Sounds crazy? It happens like that. It is here. It's still here in the United States, where you could be in 1 state, 2 state, 3 state, 4 state by standing on a little yellow line in the middle of the road. That all crosses like this. Then, let's see, what else can I talk about? Maybe I'll talk about these dolls with no faces. How many of y'all was here around the 60s? Nobody want to tell their age, eh? Well, during the 60s, Mattel decided that their Barbies weren't selling as much as they wanted it to. Now, at one point in time, they only had white Barbies. Someone had the bright idea, well, we don't have any sales going on. Why don't we create a black Barbie? Now, she had white features. She had white people's hair, but it was black. She had the white people body. She was not a pretty doll. I'm sorry, y'all. She just didn't have the hips and the butts and stuff like we got. And that was in the 60s. Then was some other people that came out behind them, and they created some different dolls and different things that weren't the Cabbage Patch doll, or they weren't the fabric dolls. They were actually the plastic dolls, and different things throughout the years. But why I said that is because when they created those dolls, back before they created dolls, our people would create dolls that had no face. Why did they have no face? Because they wanted their children to imagine their faces on that doll. So we have recreated the Gullah dolls that have no face. She's all dressed up, but she has no face, because I can imagine my face on there. You can imagine your face, your granddaughter's face, or somebody else's face on the doll. So that is why most pictures that you see that are Gullah Geechee or African American, those pictures have no face. Oh, you didn't know, did you? No face, so you can imagine your face on that picture, on that doll, on whatever it is that they painted that have no face. I am a culture preserver. I don't know if a lot of people know what culture preserver is I tell stories, I write books, I pass on history information, I create dolls, I create quilts. So I am a culture preserver, as in I'm trying to preserve every little bit of culture that I learn. Why? Because they're trying to erase our culture, they're trying to erase our history, and if they erase it and nobody knows it, then it becomes something else. Okay? So I'm gonna leave it up to you guys to ask questions if you have any. Don't be scared. I might have more information that I can't remember at the time. But if you ask the question, it might just bring it up. Anybody? No? Yes, ma'am. To prevent our history from going away is keep our books in the stores, keep our things on the shelf, keep things on the internet. Don't let people erase stuff that are already in archives. If they're not in archive, try and put them in archives if you can. As a museum, the museum is a way of preserving history. As a library, the library should be a way of preserving history also. So it's different ways that we can do that. Supporting me, I mean, I have a couple of different businesses if you want to talk later. I did create a couple of children's books. This one talks about grandma, quilting with grandma. And with quilting with grandma is, say for instance, with a baby sleep. But this little young lady, if her grandmother was a quilter and she goes in her quilting room and she picks up a couple of pieces of her fabric and she starts stitching it together, and grandma actually shows her how to put that quilt together, that's a bond with grandma. If grandfather is a woodworker and he teaches this baby how to make a car, truck, or a flute or something out of wood, that's another woodworker that you have created. So if you are a crafty person, if you're not a crafty person, you can at least teach them some history. You can always pass on information through vocals. Now, why I say that is because the ancestors that have left already and has been buried, that is a library that has gone. So if we can preserve things by leaving it, giving information, leaving tapes, leaving videos, leaving oral history to them, then that can preserve history also. This one, and then I need to reorder these ones, but it's Sweetgrass Dreams. They're on Amazon. Sweetgrass Dreams talks about how I learned how to make sweetgrass baskets, which I didn't talk about yet. How about y'all ain't say nothing about that? Let's go. So sweetgrass baskets came about because our ancestors would never think they would get back to their homeland. So they made these baskets on wherever they were, whatever part of Africa they were, wherever part of Jamaica they were, wherever part of Barbados they were, and they came together. As they came together, they figured out the products and the materials that they needed to use. How many of y'all remember Moses in the bulrush basket? Y'all know his mama lined that basket in tar so he wouldn't get wet. Well, they realized that tar is bad for you. So we don't line them in tar no more. A lot of people say, well, does it still hold water? For a couple of seconds, ain't no tar in here. This is all grass and material, okay? Let me explain. Back in the day, they actually used split oak and bulrush to make these baskets. Split oak and bulrush because that was a very sturdy material, and the basket would last a long time to collect the beans, the cotton, the indigo, and anything else that they needed to collect in the fields. They were collecting in the basket. They would put it on top of their head. They would walk around with that pounds and pounds of rice or whatever on their head. If they needed to carry their children, they could tie their children on their back. The other children could carry the meat, the wood, the water, the vegetables, or anything else that they needed to carry. Now, if you think about it, they had a lot of kids back then. There ain't been no TV, ain't been no radio. So y'all do the math for what happened. Some of y'all got 14, 15 siblings. You know why? There was no TV and no radio. Y'all got TV and radios now, so only 2 babies over here. And they were told the things. Well, after that, they discovered the sweetgrass. The sweetgrass was easier and pliable so that they can be able to make loops and different things on baskets. Bulrush is still a sturdy material. That's the darkest part of the basket. Then they couldn't get the split oak as much, or the split oak was a little bit harder to carve off of those trees. So they decided that they would use palm, and that's what we bind the basket with today. So it's 4 materials: sweetgrass, bulrush, pine needles, and palm. You may have 3 out of 4, or you may have 4 out of 4. You may even have 2 out of 4, depending on what basket it is. But most of the time, you're going to get at least 3 out of 4 of the materials in the basket. This one is a modern bread basket. This one is called a rice fanner basket. So they have their own names according to the handles and different things of the basket. I started making baskets at the ripe age of 7. I am 42 and a half. And I still enjoy making baskets. I still enjoy the craft. I still enjoy going out into the wilderness and actually collecting my materials. Going out into the wilderness collecting material is like a therapy to me. It's like going out into fresh air because I'm going in between the palm trees. And yeah, there is animals out there that can harm me, but guess what? I haven't ran into any other than the alligator and her babies, but I'm still here, so she didn't eat me. Still to this day, I still will climb a tree. I'm not allowed, but I will. Yes, ma'am. That basket is up to 20 hours. Yeah. The big one is about 20 hours. The small one is maybe 7 or 8 hours. But all right, I am going to let y'all go. If y'all want to come up here and see what I have, there's steps here, and I can also bring them down to you. Is that all before I close? Got people walking out. That means they're ready for go. I done talk too much. Whoa, I done. Whoa, I done. Whoa, I done. I done what I had to do. Whoa, I done. Whoa, I done. Whoa, I done. I done what I had to do. You told me to teach and I done that too. I done what I had to do. You told me to preach and I done that too. I done what I had to do. You told me to love and I done that too. I done what I had to do. You told me to pray and I done that too. I done what I had to do. Whoa, I done. Whoa, I done. Whoa, I done. I done what I had to do. I done. I done. I done. I done. I done. I done. I done what I had to do. Whoa, I done. Whoa, I done. Whoa, I done. I done what I had to do. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for coming today. I hope y'all enjoyed the presentation. Y'all make sure y'all support the museum as much as you can. And thank you again.